Hey, thank you so much for clicking on my channel. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the Made by Mitchell palette and skin tint. I was super interested in trying the curve case. They are all over TikTok. I was just super duper impressed with their shade range, and I've never truly seen a bad review on anything. So what I wanted to do was buy some things and I wanted to give you an honest review on them. We're gonna go ahead and jump right into this review because as you can tell here, I am already wearing the makeup. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the skin tint. It's called the Truth Tint Skin Tint. It is $18.75 on Beauty Bay. A little something about me, I love a good skin tint. I think I am a skin tint connoisseur. Let's talk about Made by Mitchell. Jumping out the gate with complaints, okay? When you're on their website, they don't have that many live swatches of their skin tint. So you're kind of just looking at little blobs on their website and trying to figure out where you belong on that blob. I think that was one of the most stressful things that I did experience when I was buying this product. I was pretty close to my skin tone. I kind of think I was kind of a shade too dark, but that's great because it's summertime, so it's gonna be my perfect summer color. There are absolutely no smells to this skin tint, which is great because some skin tints kind of smell sunscreeny. Some of them smell kind of like baby powder. This has nothing. This is completely fragrance free. When I was applying this skin tint to my skin, I was shocked. One, because it actually matched my skin tone somewhat. And then two, the glow that you get in this skin tint is so beautiful. I was pretty happy about that first layer of coverage, but I did think that it could be built a little bit more. After I applied my second layer for a little bit more coverage, I went in with the Fenty Beauty concealer and I was blending it out and it blended so good. The two formulas meshed together extremely well. I think the reason why I thought it was gonna peel or have some weird formula issues is because this skin tint, it is so hydrating. And the Fenty Beauty concealer, it's a hydrating concealer, but it is a little bit more matte. I had some trust issues there, but it applied beautifully. It blended so good. I kind of feel like they melted into each other. Longevity wise, so I have been wearing this for maybe 30-40 minutes. I'm gonna actually show you guys at the end of the day how my makeup looks so you guys can, see if it peeled or if I just completely melted. All things are possible. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is the curve case. My very first all over face palette was this Makeup Forever HD Skin palette, and I got this in the shade Deep. And although I love this palette, one of my biggest complaints about this palette is that I just think that it's not deep enough for deep dark people. So I was so excited to support Made by Mitchell. I have the deep palette, so there's actually a dark deep. And it just warmed my heart and it made me happy and it made me want to support the brand. This palette is $38 on Beauty Bay. So the first thing I noticed, it kind of smells like baby powder. Oh, it really does. It's subtle. It's not like when you're applying it on your face you smell it, but when it's in the actual palette, it smells like baby powder. Interesting. I like it though. So for my contour, I tried to use the second to darkest shade. When I was looking at the actual palette itself, I was thinking, oh, this second to darkest shade looks very cool toned. So I applied it in very localized areas and then I blended it out. But what I found was actually what I thought was a cool tone was not very cool whatsoever. I think the shades on the back are a little bit more true to how each of the creams blend out. After I blended out Blend and Snatch, I actually went back in with a Rituation. That's what it's going to be called because I don't know how to pronounce this. I use that to do more of some chiseling under my cheekbones and along my hairline. Let's talk about how this blends out. I was making sure to warm up each of the shadows with my hand before applying it. I found that everything kind of mushed together very, very, very easily. I don't know if it was because I applied the skin tint first. That is possible because the skin tint was very, very moisturizing. It seemed kind of hard to keep things from over blending. So what I ended up having to do is I would apply the contour and bronzer, right? Then I would go back in with either my foundation brush or my concealer brush and just make sure to clean up any over blended spots. So the Makeup Forever palette, in my personal opinion, there's a little bit more tug to the formula. So you apply it and then you kind of have to work it into the skin to get it to blend completely. With the curve case, you put it on the skin, you tap like 3 times and it's completely blended. So when I was applying the blushes, I was going for like a sunset thing. So I went for the yellow first, Mango Daiquiri at the very top near my eyebrow, and then I blended that into Where's the SPF. I found this extremely difficult to do. They're just so buttery, they blend so intensely into each other. I would apply so much blush, it kind of scared me. at one point, and then when I blended it, it was gone. And so I had to figure out the correct way to blend it and get color pigment. At the end of my face routine, I actually wanted to set my entire face because I looked like a glowy goddess, okay? But it was a little bit too much glow. I just didn't have faith that like I wouldn't melt throughout the day. So I went in with some setting powder, right? I found that the blush wasn't as vibrant as it was before I set my face. And I was just completely shocked. I was like, what on earth is going on? So what I went and did is I applied the blush lightly on top of the setting powder, and that gave me what I have right now. So now we have these beautiful rosy cheeks. I did put a little tiny bit of setting powder on top of the blush just because I didn't have faith in it. At one point I touched my face and I had a giant finger mark where my blush was. And I'm like she did not set at all. And actually when I was reading it, it did not say self-setting. But that being said, I put on layers of makeup today. I love how my face feels. It kind of just feels like I put on some really good moisturizer. And let's talk about the actual colors in this palette. I have never seen a cream blush that orange. That is my favorite blush out of all of the blushes in the palette. At the end of my makeup, I applied Cherry Cola as a lipstick. I figured that it would give me a nice blush of color. I really do think if you use this as a lipstick though, make sure you're lining your lip. If I had to rank the Curve case, what would I give it out of 10? Just off of my initial experience, the skin tint, I would give a 9 out of 10. Only because those swatches are not on the site. I think that that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But I really do love the glow that it gave. I think it feels great on the face. It blended so perfectly with my concealer. It worked really well with my other products. I will let you guys know how this holds up in a few hours. As for the Curve case, these colors are absolutely beautiful. I love the shade range of bronzers that you get. I think I'm going to give the Curve case an 8 out of 10. Positives about this palette: the price is absolutely amazing. The shade range is beautiful. I love that they have options for a variety of skin tones. I think you really have to get to know this palette and get to know how to work with the formulas in here. It's definitely a new formula. I think it's just kind of hard to work with. I think that's why I had to take so much away. I think it was difficult to apply, specifically the blushes, because the blushes would just blend into the contour and then I kind of lost all the pigment. If the blush lasts throughout the day, it could be a 9 out of 10. We'll see how it goes. This is a very quick wear test because I am so curious on if I'm melting or not. I feel like I'm melting. So it's been roughly like 3-4 hours, something like that. I don't know. I feel like this makeup has to be leaking into my eyes. Let's look at the makeup up close really quick. I'm going to zoom you in so we can see what it looks like. My smile lines, they're doing what they do. I'll probably have to put a little bit of concealer underneath the skin tint before I actually apply it. But I kind of feel like it's going to blend really quickly. Yeah, that looks better. Is it creasing on my forehead? Oh my God. It's creasing on my forehead? My forehead like never creases. It's kind of creasing. Oh, what is going on with my eyebrow? Oh my God, guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm right. I am melting. What the heck? Okay, so that was my brow gel. And I think what's happening is because the skin tint is leaking down into the brow gel, it's like making the brow gel like flake off. We were just at home, so nobody saw that. But it really just peeled completely off my brow. Okay, I'm surprised my eyeliner didn't smudge because it's so greasy. I'm actually really surprised because I was eating a burrito. I thought the lip would be completely gone, but the lip is pretty solid actually. It's still on there somehow. Okay, so this is the real test. I got a paper towel. It kind of looks all brown. I want to actually say that the blush is even still hanging on. So part of me wonders like if it's just the skin tint that's causing the problems and not the Curve case. Like, do I need to give the Curve case a second chance? Maybe. I'm gonna downgrade the skin tint to an 8. 7.5. I stayed in the house and I feel like an oil monster. If I actually went outside, would I melt? I should wear this to the beach one day. No, I shouldn't. I'm gonna melt. This is not for that. So I'm gonna have to downgrade this. The Curve case, I gave an 8. I will say the blush isn't as vibrant as it was a few hours ago, but it's not terrible. Definitely not for a cream blush, not at all. I think I really want to try this again. Actually, I'm gonna keep it as an 8, okay? I'm gonna keep it as an 8 out of 10 because I'm still intrigued by it. I really want to see how it performs with my preferred skin tint. That is my full review. If you want to see any other videos with the curve case, make sure that you subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.